Hello friends, today I'm going to show you how I built a beautiful sled for my table saw that is going to allow you to make diagonal cuts and to joint boards without having the need for a jointer. I started by cutting the plywood to size with my crosscut sled that I built recently, and then it's time to start measuring with my combination square where it is that I'm gonna cut the channels. Here on the side it's 1.5 inches and at the bottom is 1 inch space. With the drill I'm cutting the holes that are gonna allow me to insert the blade of the jigsaw. Alternatively, instead of a jigsaw you could use a router and that would work very well, but the jigsaw works just fine, and I know that most of you are gonna have a jigsaw as opposed to a router. It is then necessary to cut small channels under the plywood, both in the base and in the fence, and to do that I'm using my table saw. As you had seen earlier, I used the 1/4 inch piece of plywood to measure the height of the blade, and then at that height I cut all the channels under the pieces, and that worked very well. Again, you can use other tools to do that. You can also use a router, but the table saw works perfect. It is then time to make this tapering sled very beautiful, very functional, and also the color serves a purpose. This part of the sled that I colored red is the part that is gonna touch the blade potentially, and for that reason the red color is there to remind you to be very careful. And the other color that you see here is called calligraphy. It's a very beautiful color that I've used recently in the crosscut sled that I built and that I've also used earlier in the same video. And this is a color that is the same color that I've used in other pieces of furniture in my shop. And the tape I used to cover the red when I was applying the calligraphy, and that makes quick use of creating this double color that is also very nice. And the sticky tape measure here, adhesive, is very useful. I place it on both sides at the end of the base, and that's gonna help me place the wood. Then I don't need to take measurements. Once I know what the measurements are on the sled, then I can replicate the same cut without having to take new measurements. Mounting the hardware is then very easy. I purchased this online. A few links are in the description of this video. If you purchase them through the links, that's one way to support my channel. I would very much appreciate it. This hardware is very high quality and the clamps are very sturdy, perfect for this application, and they also match the color that I have painted my sled. It slides back and forth very well. You can see you can place it horizontally or diagonally, and that is what allows you to make use of the sled both as a tapering sled for diagonal cuts and as a jointing jig to joint boards without needing a joint. You just measure the width of the runner on the table saw itself, and then you attach it with glue to the sled. And here I'm gonna show you how to use it. It's very easy. I'm placing the piece diagonally. You see the line is a diagonal cut in the piece. It would be impossible to make this cut on the table saw without a jig or a sled like this. The two pieces are perfect diagonal cuts, and you can use it on hardwood too. For example, here I'm showing you can make a leg, for example, for a dresser or a table. And here is the jointing function. This board was not straight. I placed the fence straight on the sled. I run the board on the table saw, then I turn it around and I use the straight end on the table saw, and there you are. I have a perfectly jointed board without having the need of a jointer. So a great sled, very useful, and does not take too much space. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is my second channel that is in English. I have a first channel in Italian called Gem River Woodworks. I'm an Italian American living in California, originally from Italy, and I like to produce content both for the US, all over the world, and for Italy. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, leave me a comment, and thank you so much for watching.